year 2087, a Freedom of Information request resulted in the declassification of nearly 100,000 documents. These documents revealed the existence of a secret division formed as a skunkworks in the Central Intelligence Agency. This organization is known as the AORD and is still active to this day. The scope of the declassified documents covers the years of 1987 to 2037 and goes a long way to explaining the events that unfolded at that time, as well as the direction the path of history has taken as a result. Despite heavy redactions and documents left out entirely, the FOI release was one of the most shocking collections of data ever revealed to the public. These are those documents. Case 2. The Cave. Area/object/creature. Risk level 1. Kept on site and... Background. Before our investigation, the cave system there was already a cultural consensus from the locals that the cave was to be avoided. It is purported by the members of the town that the legend of the cave goes all the way back to the spoken history of the tribe. This has not been confirmed by any member of the tribe. However, we were informed that much of the spoken history was lost in the early days of colonization, and there is every chance that such a legend does exist. In the modern age, between the years of 1987 and 2007, there have been a total of deaths and 5 missing persons cases. We can likely attribute to the exploration of the cave. It was brought to our attention when the majority members of the most recent civilian exploration were all trapped in the cave with only one survivor. This survivor, a Mr. A, returned alone after what was supposed to be a day-long spelunking venture into the cave system. Upon his return, he was bleeding from the head and was rushed to the hospital by concerned locals. Once his treatment was administered, he began explaining to the local police that 4 other people were still trapped in the cave and were unlikely to make it out without rescue. He further suggested that there was something terrible about the cave, though he wasn't able to articulate what it was. The police, in their report, attributed this to a partial cave-in, as the man had described the walls closing in. This, after entering the computer database, was flagged by our sniffer and automatically sent to the analysts. Despite the witness testimony, it was deemed unlikely to be an anomaly, and left on the back burner. The local authorities quickly sent a rescue team to the cave to help the trapped cavers. Only a few hours into the rescue attempt, a member of the rescue team drowned in the cave, and the rest of the team abandoned the mission. Being locals, the rescue team were well aware of the cave's reputation, and being largely uninjured, were more articulate in their reports. They called the cave cursed, evil, and a death trap, which once again flagged our sniffer and gave the case a second flag. As per protocol, the second flag made the case an automatic priority, and after a small amount of research, our analysts then learned of the cave's reputation. At this time, the cave was treated as a risk level 3 anomalous area, and a shutdown team was sent in. The area was closed off to the public under the guise of a federal safety concern and geological survey. This cover ended up being useful for getting the local testimonies, and allowed an easy interaction between our office and local sources. When the area was deemed clear, the research team was sent in, with orders to pioneer the cave as a risk level 3 anomalous area, until a more final determination could be made. The cave itself is located kilometers into the forest, and has an opening about meters high and 6 meters wide. The opening is roughly the shape of a giving it an ominous look and likely adding weight to the local legend. Initial drone exploration of the cave captured nothing particularly unusual after a full day, though it did discover the enormity of the cave system, as it reaches at least kilometers into the earth in various directions.
Field Research Notes 1-1. A drone fleet consisting of 2 standard recon flyers, 2 all-terrain crawlers, and 1 standard drone is sent into the cave remotely operated by the research team. All control manifolds are equipped with IH-8 PDD compliant emergency shutdown, as is required for risk level 3 anomalous areas. The team slowly pioneers the cave, at all times assuming the drone's destruction may be reflected on them. After 7 hours of exploration with no noticeable anomalous events, the drones are returned to the outside and put into risk level 3 quarantine and analysis. No residual residue or anomalous is found on the drones, and so they are kept in quarantine in case they need to be used again before destruction. 1-1 audio log.
This is lead researcher and parageologist Doc, representing the pioneering team of Project beginning drone exploration. Flyer entering cave opening. Cave opening appears to be meters in diameter. Cave entrance is sensors reading no activity and no interference. That's a good sign. Alright, I think we've documented enough here. Let's move on through the northwest passage. Gets a bit tight in there, actually. Let's send the flyers back to the northeast passage. Take it slow. No sensor readings, still. We've mapped around a half kilometer of cave. There's a few tight squeezes, but the crawlers don't have any trouble with them. Just seems like a regular cave so far. This cave system is enormous. I really hope it doesn't have any other openings. Hey, did we find out where they left the bodies? Did they give directions? How far did they go in? This is lead researcher Dr. We have not found any bodies in our drone exploration, and I don't think we would have missed them at this point. I think I'm forming an idea about how this cave works.
Research notes 1-2. On lead researcher Doc orders, we are sending a single standard RCLA outfitted with the usual sensors. Entry and initial exploration has not revealed any anomalous activity. After meters of exploration, the cave perceived by the rat drone does not match the already mapped portion of the cave. The operator confirms the difference in topology, visually and with tactile sensors. However, it can't be determined if this is just a result of changes in the rat's perception or if the cave itself has changed shape. To confirm this, a crawler drone is sent directly to the area of initial inconsistency. Meanwhile, the rat is being led further into the cave, which now seems to be much tighter than before, and certainly impassable for standard mechanical drone exploration. Mechanical drone confirms the cave has changed, as it is unable to connect back to the portion of the cave it was sent to. After 100 meters, the existing passageways have shifted substantially. Furthermore, standing water is now present in earlier portions of the cave than were observed in the pioneering expedition. The cave is now confirmed anomalous, and all sensor information will be backed up to a secure quarantine database for further analysis by control. The rat has now traveled 3 meters and is now unable to move any direction other than forward, even with its collapsible rib cage. Visual data suggests the cave narrows even further in the next few meters, and data suggests the passageway becomes submerged in water after a few more meters. The rat's instincts are beginning to buck our control. The RCLA is considered lost, as its return has become completely impossible. Remote control has been abandoned, but visual and audio information is still being studied. The rat's squeaks are growing more labored, and the light seems to be illuminating less as time goes on. However, this could just be a result of the rat thrashing. Sensors confirm the rat has now expired by suffocation. Standing by for post-terminal data. Post-terminal data not received. Presumed something happened to its body. 1-2 audio log.
You're saying it's not an illusion, then? Unless it's fooling our cameras, the cave definitely changed shape. I told you, the cave wants living things. That RCLA is done for. Mechanical drone has exited the cave and is heading to quarantine. I wonder if it'll continue to ignore anything inorganic. I can't wait to get some test subjects in there.
Researcher note. Form TS-109 submitted for full docket of test subjects and necessities for long-term study. 1-3 Research subject 21 years old. Kilograms, male. Subject is outfitted with cameras, microphones, and sensor gear to collect data on both the surroundings and the subject. Subject is given 2 days' worth of provisions and is instructed to follow all directions given by the lead researcher. Research subject is compliant and somewhat excited to be able to move around. Subject is sent into the cave and is directed along path 1-3. See additional documents. The intention being to see when the map becomes inaccurate, how the cave reacts to a larger life form, and whether or not standard exploration equipment will survive the death of the subject. After meters, the maps collected from both previous explorations have become obsolete, and the cave is becoming much more difficult for the subject. Subject is directed to continue through the new passages. Passages become tighter than the subject is willing to attempt. Subject ignores orders and begins heading the other direction. Subject perceives the passages he is returning through have become smaller. Sensors confirm this is the case. Cave topology has changed substantially since the subject's entrance into the cave, and the way back no longer leads back directly. However, the oxygen levels have not decreased, so it is presumed there still may be a way out. Subject notices the changes in the cave and begins to panic. Lead researcher's attempts to calm him down are unsuccessful. Subject scrambles through passages at random for 17 minutes until he becomes stuck. Subject's panic becomes worse. Lead researcher deceives the subject so that he will calm down. Subject confirms that the cave passage seems to be slowly closing in on him. Subject dies of suffocation after hours and 15 minutes into the test. Exterior sensors and audio-visual equipment is destroyed shortly after, but interior medical sensors continue functioning for another 7 days, 15 hours, and 5 minutes. No useful data is collected from surviving medical sensors. However, it can be deduced that the body is not fully crushed after the victim expires.
1-3 audio log.
Exploration 1-3, this is Dr. And on the other end of the tether, I have research subject. We'll be testing how the cave reacts to a single human today. You all hooked up and ready to...
I'm ready. Just gotta follow your instructions, right?
That's right. Go ahead and enter the cave then. You'll want to head into the passage that's straight in front of you.
You got it.
Okay, go ahead and take the passage on your left along the floor of the cave.
Okay.
Is it too tight?
No, I can get through.
You're alright then.
Yep. Still beats waiting in the cell all day.
Okay, it'll be the passage on the left now.
There isn't a passage on the left.
What's that?
There's no passage to the left.
Oh, right. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. It'll be the passage ahead of you.
Alright. Hey, Doc, I'm not lost in here, am I?
No. Just got ahead of myself. It'll be the next left after this.
Okay.
The cave is now changed from the last exploration, and both current maps are obsolete. It should start closing in on him soon.
Ugh. Doc, are you sure this is the right way? I can barely fit my head in here.
I'm sure, just continue on.
No way, fuck this.
What's wrong?
It's too fucking tight. I have to squeeze my fucking ribcage to get through there.
Well, I hate to say it, but that's the way we gotta go.
I ain't fucking doing it. I'd rather go back in my cage than try to squeeze through here.
Hold on, think about this.
What the fuck?
Oh boy.
This hole wasn't so tight before.
Subject is trying to return, but the topology has changed. Oxygen levels are consistent.
What the fuck?
What's wrong?
This isn't right. This isn't right. It wasn't like this.
What wasn't like this?
The cave! The fucking cave changed. The fuck is this place?
I need you to calm down.
You knew this would happen, didn't you? You fucked me. Fuck!
Subject is spiraling. He's now going through passages at random. Slow down. I might be able to find the exit if I can study the airflow in each room.
Fuck you! Fuck you, asshole! Fuck! I'm fucking stuck!
You're stuck?
That's what I fucking said! Fuck! No!
Calm down. Just breathe slowly. I'm sending a team in to come help you, but you have to breathe slowly or you'll suffocate.
Okay. Okay. Oh, Jesus.
Thank you. The rescue team's on the way. Now, can you tell me how it is that you're stuck?
I can't get my head into the hole. I can't go backwards. My ribs are stuck on the bottom. Oh, God. Please hurry.
What's wrong?
Feels like... It feels...
Does it feel like the walls are closing in?
Yes.
Don't worry about that. It's a common feeling when people get stuck in caves. We're almost there, buddy. Just hold on a little longer.
Okay.
Sensors show the walls are indeed closing in. It's also showing a noteworthy rise in humidity. It's not readily apparent why that would be.
Please. I'm
Sorry, buddy. We'll put a star next to your name. You've done a very important thing here today.
Please.
Subject has expired of suffocation. Exterior sensor equipment is destroyed. Medical sensors are still running. So the body hasn't been flattened, I guess. For whatever that's worth.
1-4. Research subject. Age, weight, kilograms. Male. Subject is rigged up with normal sensors and is given a large number of small location trackers. Subject is guided into the cave and told to apply a tracker to the cave wall about every 3 meters, and then to rest for 10 minutes in each location. In this way, we will see if the cave must bring the victim further, or if it will begin its attack earlier on. After around meters, the subject reaches a relative change in the cave, and maps are once again obsolete. After being led into a new passage, a single passageway flooded with water is found. Subject is directed to sample the water. Sensors show it is more or less normal water with a high level of silica, which is consistent with the abundance of quartz crystal within the cave. Lead researcher insists the underwater passageway be mapped before the subject enters, as he assumes it's a trap. Sensors show the passageway continues for 12 meters at a slight downward angle and then raises back into a room of breathable air. Subject is directed into the passageway after being assured it is safe. Subject continues for 50 meters in the passageway and remains underwater. Subject begins to panic and tries to back up out of the passageway, but the wall has closed behind him. Subject drowns. Cameras continue recording, capturing the walls closing in and increasing the pressure of the water. Recording equipment is destroyed, but 2 out of the 23 remaining tracking devices continue functioning and move around meters north-northeast and 30 meters down into the cave. 1-4 audio log.
Exploration 1-4, this is lead researcher Dr. Test subject today is... Purpose of today's test is to plant locators within the cave to see how it moves, and see how far into the cave the subject has to go before it tries to kill him. Alright, buddy, did they explain what you're doing?
Follow your directions. Put these things on the wall when you say.
You got it. Ready to go?
Hey, why am I going into this cave instead of you guys?
You ought to be able to figure that one out.
It's not radioactive in there, is it?
Oh no. If it was radioactive, we could just use robots. It's just weird.
What do you mean, weird?
Like, haunted weird.
Seriously?
More or less. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Oh, shit. Alright then.
Good. Now go ahead and enter the cave. Oh, and put one of those things on the wall as soon as you do.
Okay, which way now?
Hold on a sec, I'm checking ahead. The cave has changed after 150 meters. I wonder if it can shift around the opening. Go ahead and take the passage to the right.
God. The only way through is underwater. Should I turn around?
Can you get a sample of that water?
Okay, how do I do that?
It should be the second tube from your right on the vest. Just fill it with water and put it back in the vest, and I'll be able to read it from here.
Damn. Alright. Is it all good?
Yeah, just normal cave water, really. Nothing dangerous about it.
Good.
I might have you go through that underwater passage.
What?
Hold your horses. I'm using sonar to make sure it's safe.
Man. I should have stayed in jail.
Hey, this is probably a trap, so I want to check it out before we send the subject off. That way we can see if it changes in the moment. Actually looks safe. Let me get the measurements. Yeah. Okay, looks like it comes back up pretty quick. You should be alright to go through without a rebreather.
How long does it go?
About 30 feet or so. You good with that, or is that too much?
No, I can handle that. Alright, here goes nothing.
Subject is going through the underwater passage. It was 12 meters to start with. And yeah, it's definitely more than that now. This cave can shift fast, and it can do it without even causing a rumble. Very interesting. Subject is panicking, understandably. He's gone about 3 meters. Subject is backing up now, a strange choice. Oh! Looks like the way back closed behind him. That's alarmingly fast. Good work, buddy. We've learned a lot. We can actually see the cave closing in. We can measure it as well. It's not going that fast. Maybe it knows it doesn't need to. It's like the GPS tracker slid a long way down. I wonder if that means the subject's body did as well.
1-5. Research subject. Age, weight, kilograms. Female. Subject is given normal sensors, a subdermal locator chip, a day's worth of provisions, and a sleeping bag. Subject is directed to enter the cave and immediately set up camp. Locators placed deep within the cave shift position slightly, but the entrance and nearby areas do not change. After 24 hours, subject is directed to return to custody and is placed in quarantine. 1-6. Research subject. Subject is directed to enter the cave, travel through one passage, and set up camp in the second room. Locators within the cave shift position once again, except for the cave opening and surrounding areas. Subject reports she's getting an ominous feeling. Sensors do not corroborate witness testimony, and all signs are more or less normal for the cave's resting state. After 24 hours, the subject is directed to exit the cave and return to quarantine. Base camp sensors detect mild seismic activity as the subject leaves the cave, but there are no changes to the cave around her. 1-7. Research subject. Subject is directed to enter the cave, travel through 2 passages, and set up camp in the third room. Shortly after entering the third room, the cave floor collapses and the subject falls 100 meters to her death. Some sensors are damaged, but recording devices remain unharmed. Spectrometer readings of the cave floor where the subject fell shows this stone is twice as dense as the normal surfaces of the cave. Cameras pick up the hole in the third room closing in, as the cave walls close in on the subject. Sensors are destroyed from the pressure, but the subdermal chip survives and moves to the same position as the leftover locators from 1-4. 1-14. Research subject. Age, weight, male. Subject is directed to camp in the third room. As expected, the cave acts quickly and floods the chamber, washing the subject down the cave system. 15 meters, where he is trapped in a crevasse. Subject dies of asphyxiation. Lead researcher is confident the third room is the first room that the cave is willing to act in, despite the chemical structure of the opening being the same as areas further in. Dr. hypothesizes that the cave is trying to remain discreet, so living things don't avoid the cave altogether. 1-19. Research note.
The last 5 tests have been thrown off track because the cave has changed its behavior. Since we teased it so much by continuously leaving subjects in the second room, it now acts aggressively and immediately as soon as subjects enter the third room. I recommend letting the cave sit for a while longer before testing resumes.
1-25. Research note.
The cave seems unable to deal with more than one subject at a time. This would explain how survivors managed to escape the cave. On top of that, there always seems to be a passageway that leads to the entrance. I posit that the cave needs fresh air throughout to do what it does. Otherwise, it could just close off the exit and let the subjects suffocate on their own. To me, this is undeniable proof that the cave is alive.
1-54. Specialized mini-drones are sent into the cave system with the intention of finding the location of the subjects' bodies. The cave system does not react in any way to the presence of the drones, and they are able to travel normally. After meters, the cave structures become largely crystalline. Spectrometer and cursory chemical analysis shows it is the same unknown structure of quartz crystal that was found in trace amounts in earlier chambers of the cave. After a further meters of travel, the drone arrives in a massive cave room with dozens of openings near the top. The room is halfway filled with water and organic meat slurry. On top of the pile are the mostly crushed bodies of the research subjects. Drones were unable to identify any bodies matching the missing cavers or the rescue worker. However, a DNA analysis of the meat slurry showed a large amount of meat from local wildlife. Lead researcher decides this room will be referred to as the stomach. 1-54 audio log.
Alright, we're coming into the locators now. Everybody keep your head on a swivel and be ready to look away in case it's a... Oh, wow. Jesus, that's a lot of bodies. Feels weird seeing them all in one place. Well, it doesn't look like there's any info hazards anyway. What are you looking away for? There's a pile of dead animals under all the research subjects. It's as if the cave lures them in somehow.
2-1. Samples of the cave walls and unusual crystal structures are analyzed for anomalous properties. Samples react to the presence of living things 5 centimeters or larger. When combined with waves in series with lensing, serviceable lifeform detection is possible at a range of 50 meters. Future versions should focus on reducing time of scan and finding a way to filter out all but human signatures. After 3 weeks, the sample has become inert, and the lifeform detection machine is rendered useless. 2-4. Samples of crystal structures are kept together in testing room Alpha. Samples seem to recognize the presence of other samples, but no intelligence seen at the cave itself is displayed. Unexpected behavior is deemed unobstructive to original test. Samples are dropped with varying amounts of pig's blood, and at varying times, with one sample given nothing as a control. Control sample goes inert after 3 weeks, and samples given less than cc's of blood in 3 days, going inert within 5 weeks. All other samples maintain normal levels of activity, and it is presumed indefinite. One sample is left in a terrarium in Dr. office to assess the sample's expected lifespan. As of 2000, sample is still alive. 2-7. Samples of varying sizes are assessed for problem-solving capability by the Anubis AI. As hypothesized, larger samples have proportionally more intelligence than smaller samples. It is estimated that the cave itself will have intelligence comparable to a corvid. 2-16. Samples of size medium are placed in close vicinity under sensor scrutiny. Communication method is unknown, but presumed to involve 2-21. Range of communication seems to be proportionate to sample size. The original cave is estimated to be able to communicate at a range of kilometers in 3-9. Version 5.0 of Living Crystal Alpha and device is completed with a marked increase of efficiency and performance. Since the amount of necessary crystal material has been reduced, the necessary amount of blood per day has been reduced to lead researcher Dr. considers it ready for active use in the field. Research notes. Lead researcher Dr.
The Fire Cave is host to a large colony of anomalous crystalline life form. This colony is able to maneuver its independent components at a chemical scale, allowing the colony as a whole to move its mass within itself more or less unnoticeably. While each piece of the crystal is alive on its own, it seems only to have the capability to hunt for itself at the size of a boulder or larger, and at that size, its actions are bumbling, and it no longer exhibits the discretion of the original super colony. In some ways, it's like a siphonophore, but its mechanisms are more like an aspen tree, or a moving fungal colony. While the utility of this material has been well researched and even implemented as a life detector and device, there is still too much we don't know about the crystal. In no uncertain terms, I recommend allocating additional funding for the Living Cage project. Beyond keeping it fed so we can mine its pieces, we need to find out how to detect its inter-colony communication. We know it can talk to itself at a large distance, and if we don't know how to tell that it's talking, then we'll never know if there's more of this crystal than what exists within our quarantine zone. It's possible that there's one of these caves in Russia or China, or in every enemy nation that exists on Earth. More than that, there could be a colony worming its way under our towns and cities, infiltrating our subways, or just lying in wait for innocent Americans to fall into the trap. The research is not done. We don't know whether or not this is a national security risk. The research must continue.
Addendum. As of March 6, 20, research on the cave system and its associated materials is considered complete, and management of the cave will be transferred to the production unit. FOI is written, produced, and edited by Kit Curtis. The intro and outro song is Illuminati Swagger by Albert Bahar, as made available on upbeat.io. That's upbeat with 2 P's and IO with an I and an O. Credit for this song is listed in the description. This episode is titled The Cave,
and was based on just about the most terrifying hobby you can have. If you like this show and would like some merchandise, then you'll have to make your own until this show gets more popular. Thank you for listening.